What's going on, everyone? So, Lakers are heading into training camp and no trades, right? Which is fine. Talked very heavily all offseason. Yes, obviously, I would love a trade. Obviously, I think we need some trades at some point. But talked about patience. Patience is key. Patience is everything. Go into the season, evaluate, take things in, kind of see what rises to the top as the biggest needs, as the most important pressing needs. Right now, it is very clear Lakers need athleticism. They need defense out on the perimeter, particularly guys that can defend 1 through 3 for you. You need two-way capability players. But do you need top-end guys like an Andrew Wiggins? Or can you get away with guys like a Matisse Thybulle, a Haywood Highsmith? Maybe you can get both. You can literally get both guys for cheaper than what it would cost for Andrew Wiggins, right? So, again, yes, there's a clear need at that, but do you need a high-end guy, right? Because one of my questions with an Andrew Wiggins trade, for example, is you're paying a premium for him being a high-tier kind of two-way guy, but a lot of the things that make him great, you don't really need, or at least right now don't appear like you need. Right? Because Andrew Wiggins is a guy that, yes, he can play on ball, play off ball, defend 1 through 3 for you, some 4s, but really 1 through 3 for you, and be that catch and shoot 3 guy, be that 3-and-D piece for you. But he also is a guy that can handle the basketball on any given night, be your second best player, go get you 20, right? Defend multiple positions, but also make plays for himself, make plays for others, self-create. But you look at guys like Rui, and it's like, he can do a lot of that stuff too. He's one of the best mid-ranges in all of basketball, yet he gets no opportunities to do so. And it's like, well, how much opportunity is Andrew Wiggins going to have to be anything outside of just a catch-and-shoot 3-and-D guy? So do you really want to pay a premium for that? Or can you get away with a guy like a Matisse Thybulle that might just be a better natural slot into that position? The backup center position. Yes, we might need that. But what if Jackson Hayes continues to take stretches, continues to take leaps year in and year out, and goes into this season and is giving you the production he was given to us as a starter, he is now given to us in a backup role? What if it's bench scoring? Lakers were dead last in bench scoring last season. Now, if you have Rui, say, going to the bench, and then Jake LaRavia, right, that might end up helping, and you got a couple other guys, right? So Dalton Connect, we'll kind of see what he can do and what he does. But so you have several guys that appear like, hey, these guys could make differences for this Lakers team. Like, these guys could be kind of game-changing for this Lakers team and giving you that offensive production and things like that. But there might be a point where it's like, hey, you know what? We really just need a Malik Monk type. So there are things that might just naturally rise to the top as clear needs. There might not really be anything. What if Jake LaRavia steps up and he actually is that legit two-way player? I mean, he's a B-plus rated defender last season. He's a guy that can self-create, shown the ability to be a 3-level scorer. Like, what if he has some real strides? What if he has, PJ Washington to Dallas level? Man, dude, this guy was game-changing for that team. Or Jared Vanderbilt actually shoots the 3 ball well this season, right? And he's a guy that actually is able to knock down the 3 ball with some consistency. And, we know the defense he can give us. What if he can get back to that level of defense, the 2023 Jared Vanderbilt, but slightly better offensively? All of a sudden, it's like, do you really want to sell the farm to go get a guy like an Andrew Wiggins or something, right? Or if you do, it's very possible that you still might look at it. Like, let's say Jake LaRavia does become everything that I think he has the potential to be, right? You might still argue, well, go get Andrew Wiggins because of his experience. Jake LaRavia doesn't have the experience. So come playoff time, Andrew Wiggins might be more important because we don't know how Jake LaRavia is going to look come playoff time, right? So there might still be an argument to do that, but now you're not coming from a place of desperation. Now you're not coming from a place of oh my gosh, we need this guy. It's now we want this guy. That's a big difference when you're having these negotiations, when teams are looking at it as you need this guy. And it's no, we don't need this guy. We want this guy. Look at what Jake LaRavia is doing for us. Look at what Jared Vanderbilt's doing for us. We'd love to add him because we could use it, get some upgrades, but we're not even looking for him to be the 3. We're looking for him to be the 2 or something like that, whatever, right? It just, there's you need to go and you need to find out. It's like Rob Pelinka talked about, hey, I want to give it 20, 25 games to really evaluate and see how does this team look? How does this kind of play out? And I know, right, we've heard this before. We hear this almost every offseason, right? Because Lakers haven't, over the most recent years, haven't really made any moves in the offseason, right? Like as far as trades go. The last one, I believe, was Patrick Beverley, right? That was, 2022, right? So it was a couple seasons ago. But, Lakers making a trade is very likely. Again, I say it regularly at this point now, right? Like Rob Pelinka has made a trade every single season, except for one. Since he has taken office, the guy is his trade. Like, if you wanted to have as close to a guarantee of somebody making a trade out of any GM in the league, it's Rob Pelinka. If a deal is there, he's taking it. But to his credit, he's done a much better job of being patient and staying patient. Look at Rob Pelinka earlier in his tenure. I mean, he was getting fleeced on deals. He was willing. I mean, he was taking the first deals that were offered. And then you started to slowly see the progress. And now, to his credit, he's really done a good job of staying patient, finding the trades. I don't mind if a team overpays, right? I don't mind. Like the Mark Williams trade, for example, was a clear overpay. But I was okay with it. Why? Because it made sense. The overpay was justified. You just traded for Luka Doncic. Teams know how desperately you need a center. And if you get Mark Williams, who knows what this team looks like last year, right? Who knows? Like, could he have been the difference in Minnesota? Maybe. We don't know either way, so I'm not going to say for sure yes, but there's a good chance it does. Right? So now all of a sudden you have the justification to do that overpay. But right now, you don't have a justification to overpay for an Andrew Wiggins. Because what if you don't need Andrew Wiggins? Right? Like, what if all you do is you trade for Andrew Wiggins and it stunts Jake LaRavia and these other guys? So give it that 20, 25, 30 games before you make a haste decision. Let the things rise to the top that are going to naturally just present itself. Maybe you don't need anything. It's very possible this team is just really good. And it's like, or maybe it's just marginal stuff. It's like, hey, you know what? Gabe Vincent is just kind of the odd man out. You know what we could use? We could use another shooter. Let's go. Can we turn Gabe Vincent into another shooter? Right? Like I said, a bucket getter or whatever, right? Like we could use a 6'10" guy. Let's go get a guy that could slot in small ball 5, backup 4 type thing. Or, hey, let's just, Rui's been really good, but he's coming off the bench and we don't want to lose him for nothing. Let's just can we get something for him, right? Like there's so many different potentials and possibilities and outcomes and things that can end up happening, right? Like you want to wait and see. Obviously, I'd love a trade and I hope, and Rob Pelinka said in the presser, said himself, there's a deal to be had. He's going to take it. He'll do it. He's willing to do it. He's even willing to attach draft capital to it if there is that deal, right? My hope is that Rob Pelinka is still doing his due diligence. If you're Rob, yes, go into the season, evaluate, do all that stuff, but you should still be taking phone calls and, keeping your head on a swivel, making sure, doing your due diligence, making sure, hey, this trade, if it presents itself, usually you don't really get them early in the season. Like if a trade was going to happen, the Lakers are probably running it as is. Like I would be pretty surprised at this point if a trade ends up getting done. You never know, never say never, but usually teams kind of are good. They're like, okay, let's just go into the season as is. And then, December, all of a sudden now teams are interested in picking up phone calls. And because they've had 25, they've played a quarter of the season already. So they kind of have an idea of what this team looks like. How good they are, how bad they are, kind of what they need, what are the glaring holes. So teams are more willing. Also, you get teams that just, they thought they were going to be good and they're not. And so they're kind of in this desperation state, or they want to kind of retool and reset. Or you get these teams that don't want to be good, that are trying to tank for the bottom, that are we need to get off of some guys here. Let's get off of some of our vet guys. And that's where a team like the Lakers can really thrive. You have the assets and the expiring contracts and all the things that could potentially lead to the success that you're looking for. So the Lakers are in really good shape. And I love that the shape that the Lakers are in because, go into the season. I do think the Lakers are going to be very good. I think JJ Redick's going to be better. I think Luka Doncic is going to be better. You're going to have a full training camp. I've talked about how I believe this training camp is the most important training camp in Luka's tenure because no matter what happens, you're going to have players come and go. This team, half the guys on this roster are probably not even going to be on the team next year, right? Because they're all going to be expiring contracts and stuff. But, to me, you need this season and this training camp and whatnot. This has to be the beginning of laying the foundation of what you want this team to play like, build like, and be in the Luka era. So players are going to come and go. You might get another star at some point. You might do all kinds of things. But Luka is always going to be at the helm. And unless you get like a Jokic, right, or an SGA, anybody else you can argue is not as good as Luka. So Luka's still going to be the main guy. So you're still going to be orbiting and everything's going to evolve around Luka Doncic anyway. So again, all of these things are important, right? But I want Rob, if a deal is there, I hope Rob still takes it, right? I don't think there will be anything between now and, at earliest December, but you never know, right? And you need to, if you're Rob Pelinka, you need to make sure you're keeping every stone potentially turned over. Hey, we missed these ones over here. Let's turn these over, right? Because you're going to have teams, even like Portland, sticking with Matisse Thybulle. Portland, are they really going to want to lose Matisse Thybulle for nothing? Probably not. So you can probably get him cheap at the trade deadline. Same thing with a Haywood Highsmith, right? Some of these guys, there's going to be options for the Lakers. And there's going to be options that we're not even thinking of. There's going to be players that become available that we're not even contemplate, that weren't even a thought in our minds. That's wait a minute, we could get this guy? How did that happen? Right? So again, if you're the Lakers, it is in their best interest to be patient. But it looks like they're going into training camp as is, and I think that that's fine. I love the moves this offseason. DeAndre Ayton, I think, is going to have a bounce back potential career year. I think you're going to see a very good version of Marcus Smart. I think you're going to see probably the best version of Jake LaRavia. I think you're going to see a lot of just really good and really positive things from this Lakers team going into training camp. I think you're going to hear all the good noise and all that stuff. I think you're going to see some good things in preseason. Next thing you know, we're in the regular season and it's time to go push for, can we get the 1 seed or a top 3 seed again or whatever, get into the playoffs and go on a run. We'll see. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.